evening and welcome to the October 2014 edition of Curriculum Connection. I'm Medford's Curriculum Director, Laura Lundy. Tonight, we'll examine how the Medford Senior High School fared on its first state test of the year, the online ACT Aspire test. For the first time in history of state testing in Wisconsin, 9th grade students were required to complete a state test called the ACT Aspire. The ACT Aspire predicts if a student is academically on track for a career or college and is taken completely online. Medford students spent in excess of 4 hours over a span of 3 days figuring out math problems, answering questions about what they read, interpreting charts and graphs, deciphering what was wrong with the sentence, and finishing it with an essay. Although we won't see our results until December, students said that they recognized many of the problems they encountered.
A couple of my questions I learned this year in math, so that's good. I knew how to do the problem.
Yeah, same thing with me in math. A lot of the problems were things that we just went over in math class that too long ago.
For me, it was the English. We learned quite a few things in English that I knew they came up on the test.
High school math teacher Brad Borkart said he heard similar responses from his students.
I had one girl come in to our Algebra A class after taking the test and said, hey, Mr. Borkart, there was a lot of stuff on there that we're doing. I know they're not supposed to talk about specific things, so we didn't get into it other than that, but it was encouraging to hear that kids were recognizing and we were teaching things that were going to be on that test.
It is not by accident that our students recognize the skills found on the ACT Aspire. High school teachers have been working over 2 years on improving their teaching so that students retain information better and are better prepared for the skills they encounter.
In our rewriting of our curriculum, we've done more quizzes and tests that are very much cyclical in what we're holding them accountable for, and not just one chapter test and you never see the stuff again. Another thing, we've been more specific about word problems, about multiple choice and the distractors, the evil, tempting answers that they put in there, and trying to get kids to be more aware of that because they definitely have a mindset, oh, it's multiple choice, it's easy, and I think they fall prey. Another big message that I try to tell kids is there's going to be questions on there that you don't know, and that's fine, you haven't seen that stuff yet, but the ones you know, you have to get right. You cannot make a silly minus sign mistake or a silly math error on the ones you know, and if you just get those right, you'll actually be just fine.
Preparing and administering the new online ACT Aspire test took a team effort by high school guidance counselors, administration, technology staff, and teachers. With the exception of some technical issues, the testing went well. Guidance counselor Talia Kim Pisek explains.
Lots of different logistics for technology, first of all, and then grouping of students, making sure that other staff who aren't testing are aware, and just figuring out scheduling that way, but also the students have to be educated about what the test is and what's happening, and then teachers who are actually proctoring the exams also needed to be trained. So lots of different meetings with a variety of people to get everything running the way that it should.
Everything comes at a cost. In this case, a week of learning was exchanged for a week of testing. However, the results will be helpful to see if students are on track academically a lot earlier than previously known.
It'll give us some benchmarks. It'll give us some college and career readiness benchmarks for our students, which I think will be nice to see not only growth from fall to spring for groups of students, but also over time to say, okay, as a freshman, it's much easier to start seeing where maybe my strengths and where are some areas that I need to increase awareness and improve, so that we can start building that throughout their high school career instead of me just waiting until that junior year taking their ACT and then now we're backpedaling and we're trying to invest time that maybe would have been easier to make it a gradual process.
By going through the test this fall, our staff, like freshman English teacher Becky Hagenin, has learned a little more about what to expect when the 9th and 10th graders take the test again in the spring.
We did have a couple of technical issues, which I think we anticipated were going to happen with this many students testing at a time and just this being the first time. So we did have that, but at the same time, as a teacher proctoring the test, I learned some interesting things like the students needed to write their essay question in 30 minutes, and I know that's something we need to practice more because they don't have a whole lot of practice with that. And I also know that it's a skill that they're going to need to know in tech school and in college also, and in their other high school classes.
For now, 9th grade students are happy the testing is done, and they are looking forward to the spring with mixed emotions.
I'm looking forward to seeing like how I improved over the year, but I'm not looking forward to like sitting in the rooms again for like 3 days and taking the test.
In the end, the ACT Aspire tested more than just our students. The whole process tested our technology, our ability to learn a new system in a short amount of time, but above all, it tested our patience. And in the end, the staff seemed to believe that we passed this first test with flying colors.
I've been really impressed not only with our staff but our students, just their willingness to be flexible, and not only the students who are testing, but the students who are in their normal business and operation during the day who are working around those testing situations too. It's been great to just see how respectful they've been, and it takes all of us to do it, so it's been good.
For Curriculum Connection, I'm Laura Lundy.